Greetings to our viewing audience and happy Black History Month. This is, of course, your boy, Miko Evans, the executive producer, CEO, and welcome to a new edition of Meak Pro Media Special Edition News. We're still in the midst of our 15th anniversary season. This is just the winter quarter session, continuation from last year's fall season. And so we're glad that you're still here with us. This is actually during the first week of February. So thank you so much for tuning in. Once more and again, for our previously broadcast and syndicated shows, please go to all of the information that's located at the bottom of your screen. Also, for those of you who are seeking services, or if you like to register as a talent with the world's first LGBTQ exclusive talent agency and production company, we got a lot of things in store because we're still in the midst of our 20th conceptual anniversary celebration, and we have some exciting news to tell you about that's coming up for both the end of this month as well as for the first day of spring. So please stay tuned. Once again, go to our website, www.meakproductions.lgbt. All of the information, once again, is located at the bottom of your screen. I have some exciting news, you all. This particular episode is going to introduce another community icon, and he just got a new position with one of our ongoing community partners that we have been community media partners with for, I think this will be our 13th year in being media partners with this organization. We're proud to introduce the new executive director of Out on Film, Atlanta's largest LGBTQ film festival. Yes, they have a new executive director now. For those people that have participated with Out on Film, you have seen him at all of the festivals, handling all of the check-in and all of the other stuff happening also with the programming and stuff like that for the festival and stuff. And has been with the organization for a long time. Because even when I was briefly on the board and stuff like that, so I am so glad to welcome Justice to our show. Let me make sure I get this brother unmuted. Are you unmuted?
Yep, I'm unmuted. That was such an amazing intro.
Brother, thank you so much. Welcome to the show, man. I'm just so excited to see you, man.
I'm excited to be here. Actually, this is one of the interviews I've really been looking forward to. You and I, Miko, have gone back for a while now, at least I want to say 8 years, because you've been partnering with Out on Film. I've been volunteering and working with Out on Film. So I'm been really excited to jump on the show. I think this is my first time actually on the show.
Yes, actually, this is your first time on the show. I know people are familiar with your voice for at least one of the years because you actually did the voiceover for the, I think that was the 25th anniversary. Was that the 25th anniversary commercial that we did?
Maybe the 30th. I think it might have been the 30th. I wasn't with the organization in the 25th, but yeah, I think I did it for our 30th anniversary.
Was it the 30th? Oh, okay, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, you conned me after a committee meeting. You were like, oh no, I need to get you on recording. You have the right voice.
Yeah, because I wanted to get you in. I said, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. So, man, I am so excited when I got the news because I was able to get the news before the rest of the public. So I already knew what time it was. So when they finally posted, Jim finally posted it on social media that Justice was the new ED, everybody was like, yes. And I said, well earned, well deserved, because you've been part of this thing for a long time. So, man, congratulations once again. And before we get into what's in store for this year's Out on Film, and because you all do programming throughout the year now, but before we get into that, let's get it a little bit into your professional background, because you actually comes from the Atlanta Film Society, right?
I come from a lot of organizations. I guess I have an itch for art nonprofits. But yeah, I mean, do you want me to go as far back as I was born? I came into the world.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, because I know definitely we're going to get into your coming out story as well and everything like that. So yeah, let's start with your professional background first. What gave you the film bug? How long have you been involved or interested in film?
Oh, actually, okay, I do need to go back a little bit. So I am pretty much an Atlanta native. I've been here for 30 years. You might as well claim native at this point.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
By the time for high school, I went to North Springs High School. It is a magnet art and magnet science high school, and they had like some really advanced art programs. I loved art from like childhood since age 9. I actually ended up belonging to their animation club the entire time.
Wow.
While I was there, I loved doing art. I loved watching TV. I loved drawing. You know, wasn't the best at some of the more other academic stuff other than math. Everything else, I was like a C average student. I was like, I don't know if I'm even going to college.
Okay.
One of my graphic design teachers, who was the faculty advisor for the animation club, he's like, no, there's plenty of careers out there for you in the arts. So he had encouraged me to go to the Art Institute of Atlanta. I got my bachelor's from there in media arts. It's funny, I started out as a graphic design major, then switched to, I'm like, I really wanted to get into film, media, and love drawing. So animation was my media arts and animation. Got my
Wow,
back.
you went to my alma mater. I'm a graduate from the Art Institute.
Are you? Oh
Yes,
my
from the old school Art Institute, winter
God,
quarter
Buckhead.
1991. I graduated March of 1991.
Okay, so the Buckhead location, right across from Linux.
Yes, yeah, that was the original. Matter of fact, their first location, their first and original location. Yep.
Oh, did you know Craig, the board chair? He was actually worked there for a little while.
I'm Craig. What is Craig's last name?
No, our board chair, Craig Hardesty.
Are you serious? He never told me that.
Yeah, that's how he actually, in fact, we talked about that for a little while. He told me at one time he was considering to transferring to another location. He ended up getting a different job. I think it's wonderful that he stayed here, that he's now with Out on Film. But yeah, he was over there as well.
I
So
did not know that all this time, me and Craig talking stuff like that. I did not know he served on the board at the Art Institute of Atlanta during the time I went to school.
yeah, he worked over there. But yeah, that's where I went for my undergrad. After I finished, I worked a lot of jobs. So I also have a background in the hotel and hospitality. I've worked everything business related. So my education's been the art side. Business side has been more of like I've been a guest services manager in the hotel industry, front office manager. I've been an accountant. I've been a revenue manager, a sales manager, an auditor, anything with numbers. Loved it. So I did it on the business side. I ended up going back to grad school at the Savannah College of Art and Design, the Atlanta campus.
Scad.
Yep, sad. I have to say it for the people who may be viewing outside of the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
I did so my master's was in animation. And so at the
Mhm.
time, I was the president of the LGBTQ student group at SCAD. And then
Mm.
also, because I am a glutton for punishment, I was also the vice president of the animation production club. And
Wow.
a good friend of mine, Ginger, she was the president of their stop motion animation club. So we were basically around the same graduating time. I can't remember the class we were in. We were talking about our different clubs we were in. And she's like, hey, Justice, it looks like you enjoy working for free. Anytime somebody starts out a conversation with that, brace yourself for the ask. So she's like, it looks like you love working for free. So she's like, look, there's this organization, a CIFA Atlanta. It is a chapter of a CIFA, which is an International Animated Film Society.
Mm.
He was offered to take over as the new president of that chapter. And she's like, I'd love you to come with me. Let's help build up this organization. So I did it and I loved it. It's so much collaboration, being able like creative freedom. It was refreshing to apply my business skills to something without all the bureaucracy behind it and also mission driven. So I loved
Absolutely.
it. So after like maybe not even my first year at CIFA, after a couple months, she had so I had part of our degree, I was still in grad school. Part of our degree requirements is you need to actually do an internship. So I'm looking at
Mhm.
places. I saw the Atlanta Film Societies, also the Atlanta Film Festival. And so I picked her brain because she had interned over there. She's like, absolutely, you should do it. One of the other people on our committee had been interning there, and she even said, yes, you should do it. So I go ahead and I apply for an internship. They bring me on board. And my role as an intern was working in really the business department. So that was really on sponsorships, grants, community partnerships. I worked really closely with the executive director and the business director, who's now the managing director. And so I remember actually one time I was in the office and we had to do these like community partnership packages where we would basically do like give free passes out for the festival to other community partners.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
going one by one. I'm like, oh, who's Bronze Lens? And the business director is like, oh, that's a Black film festival. I'm like, okay, great. And AJFF, the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival. I'm like, who's out on film? Oh, and she's like, oh, that's an LGBTQ film festival. I'm like,
What?
you media organization? How do I not know about
Know
this?
that? Okay.
I don't know if I did it while I was in the office or when I went home, but I quickly got on my laptop, Googled about Out on Film, found out more about the organization, filled out a volunteer interest form, and the festival director, Jim, got back with me. It was like maybe a week later. He's like, hey, looked over your application, would love to have you come in for one of our committee meetings. I did. And I mean, I think that was 8 years ago I came in for the committee meeting. I think that was my first time meeting you.
Yes. Wow.
I've been with the organization ever since. I've done just regular volunteering, greeter, collecting ballots to volunteer coordinator, box office manager, or festival coordinator. I have also worked as the marketing committee chair, technical services specialist for the organization, in both a volunteer and seasonal contract roles. And while I was still volunteering with them, I was still at the Atlanta Film Society. I ended up getting hired, was brought on as their education program coordinator, and ended up working my way up to community relations manager and then their marketing and community relations director. I was still with the CFA South, so clearly I'm a glutton for punishment. And at the time, I was still with Ginger. We had talked about doing an animation festival, so I essentially transitioned to an associate director role there. We had rebranded a CFA Atlanta to a CFA South to cover the Southeast region. Did our
Hmm.
first CFAC Animation Festival, which still goes on biannually.
Wow.
I'm still serve on their board. I just moved away from the Atlanta Film Society to when I was offered the role as executive director for Out on Film. So yeah, this has been quite a bit of a journey. I mean, I started out as like, I'm going to help a friend out, then turned into an internship, and now it's a career. And in fact, I didn't even mention this when I was at the Atlanta Film Society, our operations manager. She saw that I'm with ASIFA, I'm with the Atlanta Film Society, I'm here with us over at Out on Film. She's like, hey, I'm over with the Film Festival Alliance. It looks like you like to work for free again.
Again.
Everybody's like, you like to work for free. Be cautious of the next question.
Yes.
But she was like, hey, we're looking for board members for the Film Festival Alliance. Would you be interested? At the time, I was like, oh, absolutely not. I already have 3 organizations on my plate. So I tried to pitch it to Craig, and he's like, no, I think this would be a great opportunity for you, for your career growth, your advancement. Long story short, I'm on the board of directors for the Film Festival Alliance as well. It is the largest association of film festivals and independent film curators in the North American region. We also have a couple members in the UK and Mesoamerica. But yeah, we have about 250 members, so I serve on their board. But yeah, I clearly have an itch for this.
Yes, it's obvious that this is your destiny. It's obvious that this is your passion. And what I love about this, I love the board. Shout out to all of the board members at Out on Film for even uh suggesting that you take on the role, because this is also an historic role. This is not only the first time that the organization itself has had an executive director, but this is also the first time that an African American has also been at the forefront of an organization like this to lead Out on Film as the first LGBT person of color. This is very, very wonderful, man. So thank you so much for making history. Yeah.
Uh, I am really honored to be stepping into this role. Um, Honestly, I couldn't be in it. I was just talking about this the other day. I could not be in this position if it wasn't for all the hard work that the predecessors, the board, the committee, up to this, yourself, for the 15 plus years that this organization spun off to become its own entity,
Hmm.
where it is today. And I mean, think about it, it's been nothing but volunteer. Aside from a festival director, it's been nothing but a volunteer crew this entire time. So
Absolutely.
it would not even be possible for me to be in this role without everything that they laid down to get us here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think one thing I really love about Out on Film. Some people talk about diversity and inclusion as if it's a DEI checkbox. I mean, they really champion it. It is not something you do once a month, just Black History Month. It's not something you do for Pride Month. It is year round with one of their, I mean, I've talked to the board chair, Craig Hardesty, about this. This isn't a once a month thing. This is a year round effort. That is why we have a campaign for Queer All Year. Celebrating Pride is not something you do in just June. Celebrating like the efforts of POC individuals, not something you just do in February or April or whenever. It is something year round. So I love the opportunity to step into this role and just continue the mission of diversity and inclusion.
And seeing you as the new executive director of Out on Film also shows the commitment to diversity and inclusion from that organization. Because when I came on board, because like I said, this is our 13th year, if I'm not mistaken, 13th or I think 13th year being official media partners with the organization, because we joined back in 2013. And during that time, they only just had the festival just once a year. This was way before they started to evolve and doing, Pride all year round with the film festival. And so I remember where they were, and to see the growth to where they are now, and even with the time that you had came on board and stuff like that. So I had seen the change, and I had seen the growth, and I had seen the commitment that they made, that they executed, and that they made sure that they wanted to make sure that every letter in the community was represented and every culture in the community is represented. And I saw how they made every intention, even within their policies and stuff like that, within the bylaws and stuff like that. They wanted to make sure that all members of the LGBTQ plus community are represented, and that they are that they are shown love and support. So I just love the organization. Shout out to Craig, shout out to Jim, shout out to everybody, both past and present, that has volunteered and that currently now serves on the board for Out on Film. And thank you all so much for everything that you all are doing to make sure that our voices and our lives are shown on film, and that they are showcased here in the South. So this is so wonderful. I mean, I could just go on and on. But we're going to take our only commercial break. When we come back, we have more with our boy Justice, the new executive director of Out on Film. When we come back, we're going to kind of get into his coming out story, and then we're going to get into the plans for the 2024 season of Out on Film. Dun, 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 dun. Please stay tuned. We have more in store.
You're tuned in to Meak Productions syndicated shows. Don't go anywhere. We do have more in store.
Hey there, this is George Carlton, President of the Metro Atlanta Association of Professionals. Are you looking to expand your business, seeking employment connections, or want to grow your professional network but don't love traditional networking? The MAP is right for you. As Atlanta's first LGBTQ plus business association, we pioneered partnerships and networking with Atlanta's leading changemakers to help you connect authentically, in person and online, with people from diverse industries, identities, and histories. For more information about membership and being part of our legacy, visit our website at www.maapatl.org. Once again, that's mapatl.org. We look forward to connecting with you real soon.
Meak Productions is proud to be an official media partner for this organization.
Hello, everyone. This is Chris Lugo, Executive Director of the Out Georgia Business Alliance, Georgia's only chamber of commerce serving the LGBTQ plus community and our allies. Formerly known as the Atlanta Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, Out Georgia serves the community by advocating for the most inclusive and equitable business environment, providing support and resources to fuel economic growth, and driving meaningful community connections and impact across the state of Georgia. For more information about membership and the legacy of our organization, please visit outgeorgia.org. Once again, that is outgeorgia.org. We look forward to serving and networking with you soon.
Meak Productions is proud to be an official media partner for this organization.
Greetings, this is Jim Farmer, Festival Director of Out on Film. Since 1987, Out on Film has been dedicated to supporting the exhibition of LGBT film and video art forms with top-rated films, intimate settings, audience participation, and special celebrity events, which gives moviegoers and sponsors a way to connect and extend a 90-minute film into a lasting relationship. For more information about film submission, the history of the festival, and how to donate or sponsor, please visit outonfilm.org. That's outonfilm.org.
Meak Productions is proud to be an official media partner for this organization.
And we are back with the last half of our new episode of Micro Media Special Edition News. Of course, we're still in our 15th anniversary season. And once again, for more information about our previously broadcast shows, please check out all of the information located at the bottom of your screen. Also, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as we are building our online presence even more on YouTube and on all other aspects of social media as it relates to our talk show. And if you're interested in being a special guest on our talk show, please don't forget to hit us up on social media, and all of the information that's located at the bottom of your screen. And we are back with my boy Justice, the new executive director of Out on Film. You still with us, Just?
I am definitely still here.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you, man. I mean, I have enjoyed this conversation. I've enjoyed everything that we've covered and all of the history with the organization and stuff. So let's get more into before we talk about what's in store with this year's Out on Film, let's kind of get more into, as I say, your personal testimony and stuff. What was it like for you coming up? When did you know that you was different as far as your sexual identity?
I will say it was my early teens. Yeah, it was my early teens. I don't want to say as early as 13, but I knew something was different in my early teens. I think they say that's when most LGBTQ individuals, I mean, that's the time puberty's happening, hormones are pumping. And I'm like, I don't seem to like the opposite sex the way I probably should.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, maybe it's just me needing to figure myself out a little bit longer. At that time, you know, it's when you're young and you don't understand that, you're afraid to talk about it. You think you're alone. You think that there is something different or weird about you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something I kept internalized for a little while. I don't think it was until high school, you know, when I started surrounding myself with people who were like, you know, they talked about their experiences with gay family members and all that, where I started feeling comfortable, like maybe I can open up a little to some people. So there were some good friends I had back in high school. At that time, growing up, I was like, oh no, I'm bi. And, you know, a lot of people responded back, oh, you'll figure yourself out. It's like, oh, that's just your way to Gaysville. I do believe there are bi men out there. There is a spectrum. There are shades of gray.
Absolutely.
I tend to be very far on the one end of the spectrum. It took a couple of years to figure that out, but I'm like, yeah, I am definitely gay. I did not. So I come from a Nigerian household, Nigerian single mother. I'm Nigerian American. Our culture, it's not really as celebrated, is the best way to put it.
Absolutely.
Aside from South Africa, most African countries don't really embrace the LGBTQ community. There are a lot of like laws outlawing it. Just human rights violations, discrimination, oppression. So even though I was born and raised in the US, still being part of that heritage, it was a lot longer and harder to come out. I feel like I actually had my first partner like I had some high school and early teen boyfriends. I mean, those relationships last a month.
Yeah.
You're not paying bills together. Does that really count?
Yeah.
So I've had boyfriends where I'm like, okay, I was with them for like a month. That's just kind of like testing the water. So I had my first real relationship when I was like 27. We ended up moving in together. At that time, my mom still didn't know. She did figure it out when she came over to visit and saw us leaving the apartment together. I mean, there was evidence leading up to that point. There was the gay yellow pages. If you remember those at Gay Pride, they would give those out, the gay yellow pages.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
She discovered them. She's like, no, don't keep those in the house, blah, blah, blah. So when she saw us coming out, she couldn't deny it at that point. She put two and two together. Needless to say, she wasn't happy. It took her a little while to come to terms to it. And I think our relationship's as at good of a place as it could be. We still love each other. I love my mom dearly. She loves me. I'm her child. I came from her. But it's one of those kind of pre-Obama administration military policies. Don't ask, don't tell. She
Don't
doesn't
ask, don't tell.
about certain parts of my life. I don't tell her about certain parts of my life. She knows that this is who I am. Even if it's one of those agree to disagree. So yeah, it was not the easiest transition. I didn't have a lot of people around me who were a part of the community. In fact, I remember when I was 19, I went to my first Atlanta Pride celebration, and that's when it really hit me. I was like, oh my God, I'm not this mutant. I'm not alone. There's so many more people out there like me and embrace me. And I'm like, oh, and that was another thing. You're over there thinking, it's like, okay, this is what I'm interested in. Good Lord, if I'm like one of the only ones I know of, I have no dating luck. And then you go to the Atlanta Pride, which is one of the largest Pride celebrations in the Southeast and one of the oldest in the nation. And you see so many people out there with their rainbow flags, celebrating themselves, being their authentic selves, being proud. It's just like, oh my God. Not only did I think I can be myself, but also I'm like, oh my God, I can find a date. there's an
Oh, I can get lucky. I can get real lucky.
So I am thankful to say I do have a partner now. We've been together going on 2 years. We are talking about moving in together. So really excited about that. But it's come a long way from where I was as a teenager, thinking that this could never be me. And I really want to say that is why stepping into this role is so important for me. Because growing up, there was not a lot of representation of us out there on TV. And when there was, it was kind of taboo still. It was kind of like, oh, it was used for dramatic effect or for parody. It's like, this is something to mock, or this is to be like a scandalous thing. And so for the work we do here at Out on Film, that's so important. The stories we tell, they create a sense of community. They normalize who we are. And it lets other people know in our community that no matter where you're at in your journey, you are not alone.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think it is so great to be in this position, to be able to create the representation I never had growing up. In fact, I think you probably remember, but back in 2022, we had the honor of presenting the Icon Award to Coleman Domingo, actor.
Yes.
He had actually just recently had won an Emmy.
His first one, I think, right?
Yep, won an Emmy. And then he had actually submitted a film to the festival. And so I believe it was North Star is the film he submitted. And so at the time, our festival director had been wanting to reach out to him. And so it was our festival manager that, told Jim, like, hey, Coleman Domingo just submitted a film. He's like, oh my God, I've been trying to get to him for forever. He went out an email. Less than 2 hours later, he responded back saying, I would love to accept the award. He came out, and I'm going to tell you, the most pleasant, humble, down-to-earth person you could ever meet.
Yeah, I mean,
super
yes.
nice, super approachable. He took photos with anybody that asked. It was just, I was so happy to present an award to him. And I'm sure you've been keeping up with the Oscars, but he has now just been nominated for the Best Leading Actor for his work in Rustin. And he's the
Yeah,
first gay African American to be nominated. I'm like, this is historic. It
very
makes
historic.
me feel so good to know that I was a part of that journey. I was somewhere on his, like, our organization was somewhere on his journey. It
Hmm.
feels so good because 20 years ago, I would have never seen this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never
Absolutely.
seen this. And for this to happen just makes me feel so good and just reinforces the work we do here. So I hope he gets the award, but even if he doesn't, I mean, it's a milestone. It's just a
It
huge
is.
milestone for us, our people in the entertainment industry.
Yes, I mean, it's a good win for the entire community all around because, like you just said, even if he doesn't win, the fact that he got nominated, I mean, that ceiling has already been broken when it comes to queer people of color. I mean, it's just beautiful because we do know before him, the first film that actually win an Oscar that had uh um a queer people of color theme was of course what's the name of the film?
Are you
Uh,
talking about Moonlight that won the best?
Moonlight, yes.
Yes,
Yeah, Moonlight.
we actually were part of the advanced screening for Atlanta. So out on film, we had our members. We were part of the advanced screening that they did here in Atlanta. I think it was
Yeah,
at,
because I'm trying to find out, did I do the Q&A for that one or was it somebody else?
I can't remember. I do remember going to that screening. God, I want to say it's been a while now. I want to say it's been 7 years ago.
Yeah,
Maybe.
because I do know usually y'all always, Jim always gets me to do the Q&A, especially for like the major feature films of color that they have in the festival and stuff. Jim usually gets me to do the Q&A for it. So I'm trying to find out, did I do that one for Moonlight, or was it for one of Patrick Ian Polk's other films that he was involved in? Because he was involved with Moonlight as well, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it?
That I don't know. Either way,
Either way, yeah.
yeah. I mean, both are wonderful. I feel for
Yes.
Moonlight actually reminded me of like the experiences, and I'm trying not to do spoilers, but because it has different stages of his life in Moonlight,
Hmm.
from like childhood, teen years, and then adulthood. And his childhood, part of it was just a mirror reflection, like the people he hung out with, the experiences he had as a kid and a teenager. I was like, this is almost a mirror reflection of the experiences I had growing up as an
Hmm.
LGBTQ Black man. So
Hmm.
again, more representation. And the thing I loved about it is it showed that there's not just one example of them.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
feel like when they portray us on in media, it's always like it's just this hyperbole, this exaggeration of like,
Yes. Stereotype.
yeah, it is. It's a stereotype that we're all only come in one model, that we're
Hmm.
over the top. And while that is a part of our community, there are also people in our community that don't fit that mold.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there should be a way to celebrate every aspect of our community on the screen,
Hmm.
not just one part of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's another thing I love about Out on Film too, that, they try to show the various varieties of expression that's within our community. And that's one of the biggest things I love about this film festival. Can you give us a little snippet about what's in store for the 2024 season of Out on Film under your leadership? Thank you.
All right. Well, first off, people have asked me before, it's like, so what are you planning to change as a leader? And I'm like, okay, well, hold up. Let's change this question altogether. Because when you ask, what am I planning to change? That implies we've been doing something wrong to begin
Hmm.
with, or it hasn't
Hmm.
been where it needs to be. We've been doing great things. So, first off, if people don't know, Out on Film is an Oscar qualifying film festival. We've got
Right.
Oscar qualifying status in 2020.
Yep.
And to explain what that means is that if somebody wins a jury award for live action short film at our festival, that is a requirement to apply for an Academy Award.
Wow.
Yeah, so out of 4,000 plus film festivals and film competitions in the world, only like 200 of them are Oscar qualifying, maybe less. And out of them, only 6 of those festivals are LGBTQ, only 2 of them in the US. Us
Mhm.
and so that was a monumental achievement that happened in
Wait a
20.
minute. It's Out on Film and who else? Because I think you broke up when you tried to say the other organization
Oh,
name.
it's Outfest. Outfest was the other.
Outfest. Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's us and Outfest. We're the only Oscar qualifying LGBTQ film festivals in the US. And then in 2023, we were ranked #1 festival in the nation by USA Today Best Reader list. #1. So clearly Out on Film, we've been doing some amazing things since it became its own entity. I'm not trying to change that.
Okay.
If anything, I just want to add to it. I want to keep that train moving. I don't want to slow
Yeah.
it down. So when people ask me, what do I plan to change? Nothing. We're doing great stuff. I am honored that they even chose me to step into this role. All I want to do is like, okay, we're doing great things. What can I add to it?
Absolutely.
Festival, we are still early in the programming process. We're still getting film submissions. Film submissions haven't even closed yet. If you are a filmmaker, I do encourage you to submit to our festival. But yeah, last year alone, we got a little over 800 submissions from around the world. And we screened about 100 plus films, 100, 150 films every year. We anticipate doing the same thing again this year. The festival is going to be September 26th through October 6th. We have multitude of screens from around the world, from narrative features, narrative shorts, documentary features, documentary shorts, experimental, pilot TV shows. And for 11 days, we show that content. Plus, we have a screenplay competition, and we do a table read towards the end of the festival. So all that's still in store. What exactly the content we're going to be showing, it's still too early in this process to talk about that. But I do want to jump back to what you said about us being a year-round organization, which we are. We have a lot coming up, especially for Black History Month. So just next week, there's a lot of things on the slate. So on Thursday, February 8th, we do have the Queer Film Alliance. If you are a filmmaker, a film professional, somebody, an LGBTQ member or ally in the community that wants to network and collaborate with other creatives, content creators, etc., you should come out. It's at San Francisco Coffee. We do it the second Thursday of every month. This one, I believe, is going to be on actors. So you can check our website for that. We are also having our fundraising bingo event on the 10th. It's going to be our fundraising bingo after dark. Check that out. Proceeds from that goes to support the organization and what we do. And then on the 11th, we are doing our Black Power Showcase. We are showing the 25th anniversary of Beyond the Aggressives and also The Dancer. That's going to be the 11th. So all these things are just coming up in like a week. I mean, that's just in the next week. There are things that we did an advanced screening of Rustin. We've done Footloose. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we show throughout the year. There's monthly networking events we do. So, I mean, all you need to do is go to outonfilm.org and just see the slate of things we got coming up.
And for those people that are viewing, of course, like I always do, all of that information is provided at the bottom of your screen because we want to make sure that y'all get all of the information as it relates to this fabulous organization that we've been media partners for 13 years. Justice, do you have any last words before we actually end the show?
Absolutely. So, like I said, our mission to make sure that there is representation is really important to me. I believe that queer voices should be heard both on screen and behind the camera. But I also believe those stories will only be told if people are around to listen to them. So with that said, this is my shameless plug. Definitely check out outonfilm.org. Check out the festival site. If you can, get a ticket, come out, see the festival. I mean, the only way these stories will keep being told is if our community shows up to support them. So buy a ticket, look at buying a badge, come to multiple things. And if you really want to get involved, we love volunteers or we love partnership opportunities with other organizations and businesses to help keep our community thriving. So yeah, reach out.
And one of the things that I know before we close, one of the things that I have expressed on previous interviews, like both with Craig and Jim, is that the biggest addition that you all could have done for the organization to really take it to the next height is the best thing that came out of the pandemic was when y'all went virtual. And then the next following year, when everything opened up, y'all decided to do both the hybrid festival. And I think you all were really the first festival to do a hybrid like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and we don't see it stopping anytime soon. I will say we are not in the same world we were in pre-pandemic. I believe that there are people that are like, look, I've been at home too long. I'm ready to get back out there in public, ready to get into the theaters. But there's also a segment that's like, if I never have to get in my car again, I won't. So we do it to tailor to both audiences because there is a divide. There's some people that are like, I always want to go into theater for that actual in-person experience. And there's some people that are like, I want to consume queer content, but I just don't want to have to to get out of my pajamas to do so. So both of them, I think virtual is going to be here to stay for the long run. So virtual and in person.
And plus, that opens up the audience for not just people within this region, but also globally. So, I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. We try to keep it targeted to the Southeast. We don't want to conflict with other festivals throughout the nation. But yeah, usually at bare minimum, Georgia. We definitely will open it up to everybody in Georgia. So if you're in the Augusta area, the Savannah area, the Macon area, and you want to consume the content but just can't make it out to Atlanta, we have a virtual component.
Yes, that's going to be wonderful. Once again, all of that information is located at the bottom of your screen. Justice, congratulations once again on making history. And man, I can't wait to see you at the next event because I do plan to be there for y'all Black History Month celebration, Black Showcase that y'all having. That's going to be on the 11th. That's the 11th, right?
You got it.
Yeah, February 11th and stuff. And once again, that information is located at the bottom of your screen. Until our next episode, please stay tuned for the anniversary premiere of and the return of History of Black Gay America, the official talk show for the nonprofit organization. We're so excited about that. And our first interview is going to debut later on this week. So please stay tuned for that. We have the return of our boy, the Pharaoh 69, fabulous author Larry Wilson is going to be our special guest to bring back the anniversary season of our nonprofits talk show. So please stay tuned for that. And until our next episode, please don't forget, we love you. We appreciate you. We're grateful to the creator of the Omniverse for your existence and your contribution to the human family. Stay tuned for the next episode, you all. Love you. Thanks, Justice.
Thank you, Miko.